Top 3 reasons why now is the best time to play Honkai
Rail's
Star
letting
Rail.
anybody do that.
Customers are always welcome.
Greatest video game
Another
character
reason
of
to
all
jump
time.
into Honkai Star
Video
Rail.
game. The character of all the great show.
Nice to meet you. I'm Natasha.
I'm sure you guys have seen these ads that tell you almost nothing about the game, and you are left wondering, is this game actually good? Today I'm going to be talking about Honkai Star Rail. Here's 3 things that you need to know about it. It's a turn-based RPG with gacha elements, so it's like Persona or Pokemon, but with gambling. Number 2, it has several areas which you can traverse around and return to at any point, but it is not an open world game. And number 3, it has a sci-fi fantasy setting. Well, what does that actually mean? Well, it means you have spaceships and galaxies and robots and all that thing, but also you have a huge cock to slam your enemies with. That's where the fantasy part comes in. I'm sure you will love that. I have over 400 hours in this game. I had to change it while writing the script because it used to be 300, and I will tell you everything you need to know by the end of this video. You will know if the game is for you or nah. Or who knows, maybe you are just here watching something while you procrastinate on your work. Either way, let's begin. Starting with the story or setting of the game, you are this guy, or gal, or plant. I'm not really sure these days. The Trailblazer. You are going around the galaxy in a train called the Astral Express, looking for these things called Stellaron, which are basically the cancer cells of the universe. And they are making the planets not feel so good. So your job is to go around these planets and say it's trailblazing time, and make these Stellarons go away. So far there are 4 chapters or arcs that the game has. Heard of Space Station, which is your typical research workplace, but in space. I can see my house from up here. This place is pretty much the intro to the game, and it teaches you the basics and introduces you to the main roster of characters. And also the ability to gamble. Yarilo 6, which is the ice-covered planet. It's like Serbia, but in space! And it's going under a revolution. Wow, who would have thought? This place is divided into the overworld and underworld. And you don't want to be in the underworld, because it's like the herd of Star Rail. People are out here mugging people for medicine and food. It's bad. So you need to beat up some people and take down the government while the sickest music drop in Gacha game history plays. Xianzhou Luofu. It's like China, but if it was being attacked by immortal emo people who want to die. Also, it's in space! You come here because somebody used a revive on the Earth tree, and it's making people immortal, which is good, but also it's turning their brains into spaghetti. That's bad. And lastly, Penacony. We don't talk about Penacony. This is where the latest update is taking place, and the story is so good I don't want to spoil anything. Just know that it's going to be the most trippy part of the game, and you are probably gonna cry. And let me just straight up tell you, all of these locations except for Herda Space Station, which looks a bit generic, are beautiful. There are a ton of locations where I just walk around and appreciate the level design and take in the views. This is a live service game in the best way possible. It's not like the Western devs, where the updates make the game worse, nerf characters, or even smother it with shit everywhere. Fuck you, Activision Blizzard, this is how you actually run these games. You already have a huge chunk of the story and gameplay ready to play, and there's a new update every 6 weeks which brings in more story, new events, new characters, new mechanics, and everything in between. And it's free! Not like you scumbags who worsen the content and ruin the experience in a paid game. You disappointment, no wonder your company is going to shit. Next is gameplay. Yay, I love gameplay. First of all, it's a turn-based game. I know half of you have already fallen asleep, or maybe you are using this video to fall asleep. I don't know which one. But here's how it works. You have 4 people in a party, and these 4 characters can be of 7 paths or classes. Abundance and Preservation gives heals or reduces damage for the party. Harmony gives buffs to the party, and this is going to be the class you are going to use the most in endgame content. Nihility gives debuffs and dodge to enemies. By far the funniest path in the game, might crash your computer. Hunt does massive single target damage, but it is shit against group enemies. Erudition, on the other hand, deals massive multi-target damage, but it is shit against single bosses. And lastly, the Chat Destruction path. This path not only reduces the damage for themselves, sometimes heals themselves, buffs themselves, and nukes enemies with both AoE and single target damage. Destruction path is the definition of OP in this game, and you definitely need some on your team. So yeah, when it comes to combat, you have two choices. Either carefully buff your DPS while reducing defense on your enemies and managing skill points. Or you can just spam random buttons until you win. Statistically, it's proven that the latter choice doesn't work so good, and I'm yet to comprehend why. Characters and gacha. Now I'm sure when you heard me saying honest review, you were waiting for me to just shit on a game as soon as I got to the gacha part. And to be honest, it doesn't bother me at all. On a serious note, Honkai Star Rail compared to other gacha games have been very generous. For multiple patches, sometimes in a row, they have given us free 10 pulls. Not even mentioning them straight up giving us a 5-star character who is actually broken and has helped me get through the hardest content in the game. That is unheard of. Clearly the game is doing great because it won Best Mobile Game of the Year on both Android and iOS. Obviously, as a live service game, there are going to be new characters coming out who are stronger than previous ones, causing power creep. But I genuinely believe that investing time into a character can be satisfying and worth it. Even if a character you love isn't as good anymore, you can still build them and make them viable. But I have to give genuine props to the dev team because I love the designs of these characters. Legitimately, the art and marketing team, except for the mobile ad team, these trailers are fucking hype. Even if I have no interest in pulling for a character, I do it anyway because they show them off in such a unique and stylistic way. And they always follow it up with missions that give them more backstory. They do these characters right. In fact, I'll be honest, they have released like a few more trailers for the latest characters that they are releasing. But the thing is, I'm not even going to see them until this banner has passed because I know they will make me want to pull for them. And I do not have the savings for it. Character building. I love economics. It's one of my favorite subjects to study as a pastime, and one of the topics that intrigue me most is scarcity. Basically, in simpler terms, there ain't enough shit to do everything, which means you gotta make choices and prioritize. You just know you want to level up all the characters. And you know what? It's gonna suck. Like straight up, if you go around wasting resources on every character, you will struggle a ton against bosses and endgame content. Star Rail isn't that hard of a game. All you need is strategy. And this is exactly why building characters in Star Rail can be fun frustrating. There are two ways to build a character in Star Rail. Number one is leveling up characters. You can farm enemies using these things called calyxes. Doing so will give you XP materials which you can use to level up your characters or weapons. Same goes for abilities, but you farm the red ones. They give you specific materials. And every 10 levels you will need to ascend these characters, which gives you a bigger boost. There are specific materials for ascending, and you can get them easily by fighting bosses. But the second way to improve a character is by leveling up gear. Character stats by themselves is utter garbage and horrible. How do you fix it? Fashion! Yas, bitch! Relics are basically stat boosts in the form of clothing, and they can be farmed using these things called caves. But unlike leveling up characters, this one is heavily RNG dependent. Suppose you are building a standard character Dan Hung. He will need attack percent, crit rate and crit damage. When you get a relic, it consists of a main stat and substats. Leveling a relic gives you new substat or a boost to existing substats every 3 levels. And there are 6 types of relics. Head will always give you flat HP, gloves will always give you flat attack. But the rest are completely random. So finding a good relic can take ages. You may be thinking, well, just continuously farm the relic domain since Star Rail has auto battle. You cannot. At earlier levels, farming relics is basically useless because they are lower quality and not worth it. So instead, you focus on leveling characters. It's almost like a strategy game. I knew it. Star Rail was secretly High Rollers Casino and Sports Book Simulator 2023 trademark simulator all along. How could I not have seen this coming? So how do we figure out what characters to level up? Well, that's pretty much up to you. In the beginning, I focused all my power on leveling up 2 DPS characters, Sushang and Dan Hung. Every time I got a good relic or a weapon that did not suit these 2 characters, I had to ignore them like an absentee father who died because the doctor gave him wasabi juice instead of glass. How does such shit happen, bro? But generally, you will need to focus on a DPS and build a team around it. When it comes to economizing things, information is key. There's a really good site called pridewine.gg. It's not perfect, but for anyone looking for just knowing what to use and for what purpose, it fills the role. And for people with ADHD and can't bother reading things, I would highly recommend Braxophone's YouTube channel. He's a funny little guy and makes a ton of entertaining character build guides and makes building characters actually seem fun. Just don't go looking at his community page. Why are there 4 static PNGs of Jingli over here? Stop it, you degenerate simp! Events and updates. One of the concerns that keep people from touching gacha games is FOMO. Feeling of missing out. Oh no, I did not play this game from launch. I must have missed out on so many cool events and characters. I guess it's too late for me to play the game. This is exactly what kept me away from a gacha game I have refused to mention this whole video. Gaijin Imposter Game Impact Remastered 4K Edition trademark, and also Genshin Impact. But unlike Genshin, Star Rail actually allows you to replay past events. This is honestly such a nice change because now I can say, yo, dude, you remember the time when Qingque said it's gambling time and gambled all over the place, dealing Qingquelian damage in that one event? And you can go back and experience it. Here's a quick overview and tier list of every event you can play so far. Boulder Town Super League. It is a pretty standard combat event, honestly, C tier. Star Hunt game. You get to erase a hacker's 72 Smurf accounts, delete all her game progress, and also vandalize the space station. B tier. Everwinter Museum. Honestly, to most people this event is probably going to be very boring. But to me, you get to sign interviews and interact with the characters. And also support child labor. A tier. Tales of the Fantastic. Imagine a combat event, but you get to write a goofy story about it. And the devs have given you the Infinity Stones to become broken OP. That's basically this event. A tier, very fun. Ethereum Wars. Imagine Pokemon, but instead of capturing pocket monsters, you are capturing humans. Slavery, S tier. Autumn Alley's Hustle and Bustle. The Trailblazer manager strikes again, but this time with more puzzles. If you don't like puzzles, you may not like it, but me solve puzzle, me get cash. Me neuron activation, S tier. Foxy and Tale of the Haunted. You get to make a parody Ghostbusters social media account and hit 1 million subscribers. But the devs understand gamer humor, but it's S tier. Critter Peck. You have a pastry, I have a cat. Let's put them together and make a pastry cat. And then we breed them. You know that sounds really weird and unethical out of context, but trust me, it's really cute and wholesome. B tier. Overall, the updates in this game are solid. It's honestly hype just waiting for the shows because you know the devs have been cooking something good. And I know as a live service game, you must be concerned about the daily missions. Wouldn't they get repetitive as we wait for new updates? Let me show you. Yep, that's pretty much how quickly you can get your dailies done. Unlike some live service trash, you can actually get them done in seconds, which is how it should be. A game that actually respects your time. Wow, what an alien concept, am I right? Before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to acknowledge something. I realize that my praise for Honkai Star Rail may have overshadowed any criticisms I might have. So I felt it's important to acknowledge that I am very passionate about this game and its developers. I may come across as biased, which I am. Please understand it is not in my intention to get you to play this game, but rather to highlight the aspects of the game which I enjoy. I will be linking the game in the description, not because I am affiliated with Hoyoverse or any of the team behind Star Rail, but because I genuinely enjoy the game and I want to forward it to you people who watch my videos and support my content. So thank you for understanding and thank you for watching my videos. I live alone. Who's there? Greetings people. Sorry for the sudden invasion, but Ratnakar had a sudden change of plans and is unable to finish the video. But I'm glad I was just here, passing by. My friends, Star Rail is a great experience and this invitation goes out to all of you. I hope you do come and visit us in Penacony soon. Till then, sweet dreams.